This is the strongest my team has looked all season. I'm so excited for game week 4. In today's team selection though, we're going to take a look at how I could line up ahead of the game week 4 deadline, considering my transfer plans, captaincy and some of my benching headaches, so you know exactly where my head's at with my team for the up and coming game week. So let's waste no time and get straight into this. I'm absolutely loving my team this game week. It's the strongest it's looked all season. I'm just so excited for game week 4. If you're brand new around here, feel free to subscribe, and if you enjoyed today's video, drop a like. But we're going to get straight into it with the defenders here. We're going to start with the Spurs double up with Vicario and Pedro Porro. I still think they are great assets to go forward into the season with. The one thing I would say about Pedro Porro right now is Xavi Simons, Kudus and other players within the Spurs squad. I do think they'll start to take set piece duties off Pedro Porro and maybe share them with him. So maybe less of an appealing asset in terms of set piece potential, but everything else seems absolutely fine for Pedro Porro. We'll have to see how that works out. Obviously, amazing fixture for them both this week. We did see Vicario have a lot of work to do against Bournemouth. Bournemouth just look a great side again this Premier League season. Vicario got a lot of save points in the previous game week against them. Now with the West Ham fixture, we're probably not looking at that for Vicario. We're probably looking at clean sheet odds. How likely are they to get a clean sheet against West Ham? I think West Ham, obviously last fixture, getting their first win of the season against an unlikely side in Forest. Was really surprised at that. Of course, I did play Murillo last game week. Was very disappointed. But yeah, I think really good options, Spurs going forward. We'll see how they do against West Ham away from home. Anderson against Leeds at home. I think Leeds are being a bit disrespected as a side, but I think we do have to take advantage of the fact their midfielders are injured at the moment. I'm not quite sure they'll be back for game week 4. I'm waiting to hear a little bit more information, but Anderson with a Leeds fixture at home is always going to be a great potential option. Maybe there's a chance of defensive contributions for him this game week. I feel as though Leeds are an attacking side. Depends what they do with their lineup. Are they going to play Calvert-Lewin? Are they going to play Pura? I really don't know how Leeds are going to deal with some of the injuries they've got, like Ampadu and Tanaka. Hopefully they're back for them. But yeah, I think Anderson is a really great option this game week. We'll see how that game goes. Tosin with Brentford away from home. Again, great fixture. We've got great fixtures all across the team this game week. That's why I'm so impressed with how I've planned ahead and made sure that this has happened, alongside using the Night Manager's algorithm. If you are interested in their services, there is a link in the description. If you use code FPL Moogs, you can get a 2 free-week trial and 20% off your first month. It's a great deal in my eyes. But Tosin, Brentford away. We'll see if Palmer is back for that fixture, but the only thing I would say about Tosin is you've got Chalobah, you've got Fofana at the back as well. Could they just start as a pairing? I think Fofana does need a few more minutes off the bench rather than a starter for Chelsea. We'll have to see how that goes. If that's a problem in the next few weeks, Tosin will have to go. But overall, the defence looks super strong. After captaining Bruno Fernandes last game week for his 10-pointer against Burnley, it looks like I'm going to be landing on, of course, Mo Salah this game week. It makes sense with that incredible fixture he has got alongside his teammate Wirtz in my team, who of course I've decided to keep for this good set of fixtures in Burnley and then again after Everton. So we'll see how Wirtz gets on for those fixtures, but of course Salah captain, it seems like an absolute no-brainer. If you own Haaland and FPL and not Salah, I would just probably go ahead and captain Erling Haaland. He's done amazing, in fact, on international duty. Maybe he carries that form into the United fixture. I do think United are okay defensively. I think it's a derby fixture. Maybe it's going to be a bit tricky, but it's Erling Haaland. I think he can do anything, but I do think Salah is the complete standout option this game week, alongside Mateta, Gyökeres and other players like that were worth captaining. Again, Kudus, we spoke a bit about Spurs and their strength and how I think they've adapted into the Premier League with Thomas Frank. I think Kudus looks fantastic. He's an absolute assist machine. I think I need to see a little bit more goal threat from him. Otherwise, you know, we're not going to be reaching the maximum potential of his points, but we've seen it in the Premier League before. He can score a goal. He looks amazing in the Spurs shirt. I'm super excited to own him. Of course, I bought him last game week. Sadly, it was a deficit of points. I lost out on 5 points by getting rid of Evan Nielsen, but I got rid of Palmer for Kudus, and I think that is a pretty good trade. It's allowed me to upgrade my forward line, which you'll see in the next section of the video. We spoke a little bit about Wirtz already. Maybe I'll go into a bit more detail of why I wanted to keep him. I just feel as though my strategy this season, I'm just so much more relaxed. There is not a lot of pressure on me. I don't want to look at my rank right now. I can look at my rank in game week 38 when I'm one of the top managers in the world. That's kind of the mindset I'm going with this season. I just want to be completely unaffected by bias. I just want to be as analytical and as precise as possible this season. No panic transfers, no panic free hit like I did last season, which completely ruined my rank. I don't want to make any rash big changes inside. I'm just so much more of a chilled and patient manager this season, and I'm hoping that change in mindset can really boost my rank. I'm normally around 100k in the world, just below in terms of overall rank each season for the last 2 seasons, especially when I've been playing and making content. So I'm really hoping to get into the top 100k, if not the top 50k. But Reinders as well, the last 2 players we'll quickly switch on to here. Reinders, we know he's a great player. He's getting a lot of minutes in a Man City shirt. I don't think it's very difficult to pick a Man City player because of the lack of minutes, but I feel as though Reinders could start to be looking like an exception to that rule. We've seen that Omar Marmoush has just been injured, so a lot less sort of rotation to come in terms of the overall Man City midfield. So yeah, I think that's maybe a good thing for Reinders, Oscar Bob, Jeremy Doku, players like that within their side. You've got Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes is the only player in my squad this week that the fixture isn't optimal. I think away, a derby fixture, you're going to expect defensive contributions. Let's be completely honest, boys. If he can come away with, as well as defensive contributions, an assist, a goal, something like that, that would be fantastic from Bruno Fernandes this game week. I'm not expecting Manchester United to provide much attacking threat in this fixture. I do think City will dominate it, but because of City's nature in pushing so far forward, an Amorim's system, the pace he's got now up front, I don't know. It feels great to own Bruno Fernandes even in this bad fixture. I think he's a great asset in FPL, but overall, we spoke a little bit about midfield there, my mindset in terms of transfers. If you didn't realise already, I'm rolling my transfer. I don't think there's any need to be making a transfer this game week. Again, it's hit after hit. Mateta and Gyökeres as my front 2. Amazing fixtures for them. And I don't know what it is. I'm just so pleased to own these people in FPL. I think the planning I've done with the Night Manager's algorithm and my own planning as well before the start of the season, we've built a side that in a few weeks of FPL with a bit more information that looks really, really strong. There are a few players who are potential sells. I think if Kudus doesn't provide goal threat in the next few weeks, we could look at someone else. If Wirtz is still stinking up the gaff for Liverpool and not making FPL returns, he has to go, and there's a lot of money in those 2 players. So a lot of money can be shifted around, moved into more premium assets, potentially back into Cole Palmer and then into a cheap asset. But overall, the team looks really great. Mateta with Sunderland at home. As you'll know, Sunderland is my club I support, so it's always not great having a team against my side, put my own side. But I have to put biases aside when I'm playing FPL to be one of the top managers in the world. You just cannot be biased to your own side. It doesn't make sense. If you want to do that and you want to have fun with FPL, absolutely go with it. But sadly, I don't have that pleasure this season. I've got to be analytical. I've got to be precise within my data points. And I think Mateta is a good option this game week. He has looked really great all season. I think the injury to Ismail Assar has made him a slightly worse option this game week. But yeah, it is at home for Palace. Palace do tend to do quite well at home as well. And I have to say, as a Sunderland fan, I'm absolutely terrified of Daniel Munoz and Jean-Philippe Mateta. So maybe we'll see him do quite well this game week. I hope he does, but I also hope Sunderland beat Palace. You've got Gyökeres against Nottingham Forest at home. Now, this fixture wasn't as good as it was when, it wasn't a good fixture when Nuno was in charge. Now we have Ange Postecoglou in charge of Forest. Like, what is going on in football? Like, boys, how is Postecoglou back in the Premier League? I never expected it, but I am kind of glad it's happened. He brings a bit of chaos and personality to the league. It's going to be so fun to have him back. But Forest are going to be playing what seems in a completely different way. They were very defensively minded under Nuno. Now they are absolutely not under Ange Postecoglou if he sets up in the same sort of way that we've seen him set up in the past. And I think Arsenal can absolutely exploit that, and Victor Gyökeres, I'm hoping, has an absolute feast against Nottingham Forest. Of course, Ange, an old Spurs manager, so it would feed those Arsenal players so well, and it would make them feel amazing to go beat the old Spurs manager. But yeah, I think Gyökeres is a great option. I think over the next few weeks, this might be controversial to say, but I do prefer Victor Gyökeres over Alexander Isak, and the Night Manager's algorithm agrees with me as well. We have to understand this and be really not biased to the fact that Alexander Isak's one of the best strikers in the world here. Victor Gyökeres, with Saka's absence, with of course also Kai Havertz's absence, he's going to get amazing minutes. He's going to get penalties almost guaranteed for him. I think that alone puts him as an Arsenal player, is one of the best striking options in FPL, and he's cheaper than Alexander Isak. He provides better value within my side, and we don't know yet if Alexander Isak is going to start in game week 4. I have my doubts he will because of the lack of pre-season, the lack of international minutes. I think he will be a bench player for that fixture and potentially start within the Everton fixture, and then he goes into some pretty difficult fixtures. But Victor Gyökeres, on the other hand, has 2 back-to-back difficult fixtures after the Forest game, and then goes on an amazing run of good fixtures, a long-term hold within my side. So I'm really happy overall with the team. I think it's incredibly strong. Let me know in the comments if I'm completely deluded and you just think my team's absolutely terrible. But yeah, comment your questions for FPL. Let's have a chat in the comment section. But I'm so happy with my team this week. A massive thank you to you all for supporting the FPL Moogs YouTube channel. Of course, if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you drop a like, and if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe for future FPL content and deadline streams. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.